How's the audience? How you guys doing this morning? Woo! Wow, hey, that was more enthusiastic than I was expecting. Woo! I like that. How's our panel doing? Woo! Woo!
Great.
Woo! Everybody's woo! Woo! We got more people coming in. You got to go woo! Can I get a woo?
Welcome.
Yeah, all right, I like that. And then when we all leave here, everyone can continually do that and progressively just, scare the crap out of Jim and just go behind him and go woo! I did that earlier. It was actually kind of funny. He spilled his coffee. All right, so this is a panel called Meet the Maker, and Meet the Makers, I should say. We're going to get a chance to get to know them a little bit more. They're going to chat about some fun stuff, and mostly this is open to your questions, too, to facilitate the discussion, because we want to hear what you know. We know these people can talk on end, and they can share all sorts of wonderful things and all that stuff out there, but we want to know what you want to hear. And, hey, there's more people coming in. Woo! Can we get a woo? Woo! Woo, all right, there we go. I like it. I like that hat. Excellent. And so, come on in. The water's fine. There we go. All right, more people are coming in. I love this. All right, yeah. Man, I love it. Anyone else? All right, great. So what we're going to do, yes, more people here. Every time we start,
coming.
the benchy hat.
Good hats in the audience.
I know, a lot of good hats in the audience, a lot of good fashion at Rocky Mountain RepRap, I would say. Right? A lot of good stuff, like a lot of cool, fun shirts, a lot of cool creative stuff. Yeah, the chains, the shoes, the shirts, the hats, all the stuff. It's great. So you want to hear from them and not me, so we're going to get this going here. My name's David Tobin. I'm the executive producer of the show 3D Printing Nerd, and you've probably heard of that show because of this guy. And we're going to get a chance to hear from everyone here on the panel. So before we get started, can you go through and say who you are and your channel, and we'll get going.
Sure. Hey, everybody. I'm Joel, host of 3D Printing Nerd. And we make something that we use to help inspire and educate stuff in the 3D printing realm. And it airs on YouTube. And it's good to see you all.
Gemini, and I basically 3D print minis all over TikTok. I mean, that's kind of what I do. Mini 3D printed creatures. I have, I think, 40 designs or so that I did myself that are included in the library. I have over 250 different ones that I produce, and things kind of went crazy for me with that.
We have to talk about those shoes later, though.
Oh, we're gonna get to. We will definitely get to the shoes. Next.
My name is Liz, aka Pezliz. I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Pezliz, and I'm the second 3D printing content creator on Twitch to get Twitch partner, which is pretty big deal. So this happened this year. I stream 5 days a week, do all kinds of fun things, including a show called In Printing Color with Polymaker, which is really fun because.
Please tell me you do it.
Yep, and
love it.
Color. We do all kinds of stuff. We're trying to get a good theme song somewhere in there, but that also means that I get to showcase designers, and that's one of my favorite things. Community is a big part of what I do with my streams, and it's really fun to meet new people. So I do interviews and find out what's new and exciting in 3D printing all the time. And also get to find new and exciting people in 3D printing, like Keila, who just started streaming on Twitch, too. There's lots of room on all the platforms, and I'm really excited because there's more women in 3D printing. So here's Keila.
Thank you. Well, my name's Keila. I'm actually with Lee Marie 3D. This is my husband.
Hello.
We started streaming on YouTube, I think, a little over a year ago now, and we are both West 3D employees as well. So we are huge in the Voron community. Him
Lots of
probably
Voron
bigger.
builds, yep.
He's bigger than me.
Well, taller, yeah.
Yeah, and then I just started streaming on Twitch, Keila's Way, and yes, Liz is the color swap queen, but she's also an amazing person. So I love this community.
Yeah, my name is Jeremy, and I think she just said everything for me. So, but yeah, we do a lot of builds. We do RC stuff, a lot of 3D printer builds. I think we've built like 15 now. Yeah, do a lot of Nerf and things like that. So, Nerf blasters. I'm sorry.
Blaster.
I just said that. Cut
Blaster.
that, please. Please cut that. Okay. Yeah.
Demonetized. Great. Well, I think I'm just going to start off with one question here to kind of get everything going. And then I want to really open this up to the audience. I mean, that's what part of this is for you to meet the makers, to have you have an opportunity. I'll run out there and we'll do Q&A and bug these guys and stuff like that. But the first question I have for all of you, and we'll start on your end, and we'll just kind of come back this way. What does making mean to you? What does it bring to you in your own ethos of it? Not just the general sense of a dictionary, but for you, what is it? How does it relate to you in your personal life and just in general?
I don't know. I've always been the kid that took the toasters apart and trying to figure stuff like that out. So it's always just been something that keeps my mind off of other things and keeps me doing something, keeps me out of trouble, and doing something productive, basically. Yeah, and that's the best part of it for me, is just making things that that can actually function. As the toys and stuff are cool, but to make things, design something and make it, and it actually turns out good and does its job is awesome. It's fun.
Opposites attract, because it's the opposite for me. I enjoy the community. Neither of us really have a huge family, or like very little family. So the people that I meet, it's amazing just getting to basically build a family of my own. And I do enjoy the little toys and love the filament. There's so many colors. So that's what gets me going.
Awesome.
For me, making is the whole process. So whether it is the filament companies and when it comes to 3D printing, the filament companies, what they're working on, what materials are new and exciting and available, what you can do with it, the designers, what they're working on. I do a lot of test printing. I have a lot of friends that are designers, so they're like, oh, do you want to test this out? And then it's also how that inspires other people to either design more or to make things on their own. And it's really amazing, because I'm also seeing a cross section with the makers and crafters and 3D printing. So it's not just people that are printing, like I love Voron builds. I love watching those sort of things. But it's all the different aspects, how it's crossing over, and I'm seeing a lot of that happening now. So that's like making.
Nice.
I've always had like crafting ADHD, where I have like 12 different things I'm doing at a time, and I love combining those into one thing, just like you were saying. I've done the tumblers, I've done Cricut, silhouette, vinyl, stickers, everything, and being able to have all that knowledge and incorporate all of it into one project is what really excites me.
Awesome.
For me, making really is a personal connection to my world. And I say that because it gives you this finite control over what you're doing. If you're spending your time tinkering on something, you're activating these pathways in your brain that just excites you, and you're building something that lets you interact with your physical world in a way that may have never been done before. There's so many times at home where I'm just staring off to space in the kitchen, sitting there, because I'm thinking about a new way for a drawer pull to be created that allows me to open it in a way that I haven't before. Or I'll open the cupboard for the snacks, and I'll look up, be like, this hinge could be better. And it's a really, making for me is just, it's personal to my world, and it allows me to, it allows my brain to fire in ways that are really exciting and something I'm really passionate about. And that's why an event like the Rocky Mountain RepRap Festival is so integral to making, because most of you here suffer the same consequence of being able to stare off in your kitchen and figure out a better way to make a hinge or a drawer pull or something. And we all get to kind of share in that. And so to me, personally, making lets me connect to my world.
That's awesome. There's a lot of questions I could ask on here, but I would love to know if you guys are starting to get questions and things like that. Raise your hand if you want to ask anyone up here a question. We'll kind of filter it through everyone. Please raise your hand, throw something up, and I'll come over and we'll get things going here, because this is a hangout. This is a RepRap chat, if you will. All right. What's your name?
Andrew. Awesome. Thanks so much. It's for everyone. Because you've all got different backgrounds, whether it be Twitch or YouTube or etc. I'm trying to build my audience on all these platforms, and I'm wondering, like, if you had to kind of point to one thing that really helped you build your audience of like a consistent viewer base, people that aren't just getting things in their recommended, people that are seeking you out. If you had to point that to one strategy, one thing you did, one concept you really nailed down, what would that be?
Good question.
Hey, Liz, why don't you take that one first?
Yeah, jump in there, Liz.
I have a magical superpower in that I was behind the scenes for a long time. I moderated for a lot of people on Twitch and YouTube and everything. So I kind of got to know the full, like the environment for both, I would say for Twitch and YouTube. TikTok is new to me. I watch a lot of, stuff on TikTok. I haven't done a lot of live stuff on TikTok, but I think being present is really important. You can't just you could have a regular schedule where you're, streaming every single Monday at 8:00 and nobody will come see you because they don't know you exist. Now, you don't go into someone's stream or someone's, YouTube channel or whatever and self-promote, but you make yourself present. So you find all different ways. Like if you've seen a Fix 'em Dude model that you really like, you make sure you tag him on Twitter and on Instagram, and then you talk about the filament that you used, and come to these events and just be present, be part of the community. Like there's Discords where they have hangouts, and just make yourself known in that way. And then the other thing is consistency. For me, this time last year, I had probably half the number of followers, half the audience, and I decided to buckle down, get a really set schedule, keep the schedule consistent, and then the magic thing for me was I was always worried that I was streaming for too long, and I realized, no, you have to hit past 2 hours because, at least for Twitch, I think for YouTube as well, for you to get enough people come in, start talking, actually, build up, and then people stay. But I think presence is important, and not self-promotion though. Spend a lot of time just being involved.
I also think, depending on what platform you're on, there's going to be different tactics that you would use to do that, because TikTok is a different, audience. Everywhere you're getting a different audience. So you just have to know who your audience is and which platform you prefer. We do all three. We have YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch, and they're all done differently. But kind of what Liz was saying, networking and being in the community is huge, because he started YouTube by himself before I ever started streaming with him. And we slowly, you're not going to start with a huge audience. It's slow. Don't get discouraged. But yeah, so that you grow and grow. And then, but we had a pretty good audience on YouTube before I took the leap to Twitch, because I do Twitch by myself now. But Liz has been so supportive in that. Everybody is so supportive. So when I first met her, even on YouTube, you were like, go find Lee Marie 3D on YouTube. And then we have new people coming in our stream right now, Projects and Dad's Garage, Killa Prince, Down Under Maker. So I'm shouting them out now. You just enjoy the people that you're with, support them. It's a family.
Dysfunctional family.
Yeah, consistency, I would say, is a big thing. But yeah, she pretty much said it. It's like you're just building a community of family, friends. So when people do come in and see you streaming, and just chat with them, try to stay engaged with them, and they'll come back and they'll bring other people back. And that's just pretty much, you just keep doing that, and you will get your audience. You will get a good community, and it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like with short form with TikTok that I do, it's always the videos that you don't think are gonna hit that hit. The one I did that has 1 million. I shot at 3 a.m. My hair was a mess, full facial, and it went nuts. And I think maybe my unkept appearance was part of the reason it did. Always got to play into it. But it's always the ones that you shoot in 2 seconds, barely any editing, that really hit.
That is strange. Yeah, you can spend. Yeah, you can spend hours or days editing something perfectly, and then it does okay, but then something like that happens. You're like, what?
Yeah, people love a hot mess.
One of the things that I remembered from long ago for growth and for exposure was something I learned. Bob over at I Like to Make Stuff, he's a friend of mine, and he gave some advice long ago, and he said, go to the channels or the people that you watch or that want to be a part of a community for, and then leave good comments on those videos. Like, hey, this was a great project, but did you ever think of this? Or perhaps another comment would be like, I had an idea as well, and I thought about doing this. What do you think of this? If you start to engage with people in that way, leaving good, interesting comments or questions about stuff, they could respond or they could make videos about it. And in making your content as well, if people are leaving comments with questions about it, if the answer to a question is a paragraph worth of words, maybe it's better to highlight that answer as more video content. I think those two things back and forth, because being able to go to the channels that you like and watch and leave good comments there and questions, I think works across all platforms. Yeah. And then I think on all platforms as well, some are better for being able to turn comments into more content. I know TikTok does that really well, and Instagram you can do that. I'm not sure about Twitch and YouTube, but you kind of get the idea. If you go out and attempt to leave good comments and then also take good comments and make video content with them, it not only helps you be a part of a cool community, but it invites others in a really warm and friendly way, and it should result in some decent growth.
And what I'm hearing kind of across from all of you is it's also being yourself and being earnest, because people can see through the BS very quickly. And when you come to like an overproduced video, you do something like we've definitely been in that path where we've made these videos that are just absolutely like movie TV quality, and they do okay. And then Joel will do something random, like you did something with the in the kitchen of the shop with the. We were trying to
it was
camera.
a chip clip.
Yeah,
and
chip clip.
It had
A
a history
friggin'
of a
clip chip.
German Shepherd, and I was like, "This is cool. I'm going to print it and clip my chips in the studio kitchen." And it was like a 1 of 10 video on YouTube for some reason. It made absolutely no sense, but it was something that I was genuinely curious about. I had a need. It had a neat backstory, and I was like, "Well, I'm just going to tell a story."
And that's part of it too. I think is if you're excited, like it's contagious. If you're excited about something, that enthusiasm translates. And if it's fake enthusiasm, people will know right away, because no one wants to be sold anything. No one wants to be spammed. But we want to find people that are generally connected to us and telling our stories. And you're all vehicles for different aspects of that. And I think it comes through naturally. Like, you're not trying to put on a shtick. You're not like really like, someone different when the camera.
Well, people
goes
think
off.
it's a shtick sometimes.
Oh, yeah,
Then they meet me in person. They're like, "Oh, you're really like this."
Yeah, exactly. Are there? And then we're just going to keep taking more questions from the audience and stuff like that here. So you had a hand up, and I'll come over to you next in the awesome Hawaiian shirt. Awesome.
It was funny that you said that, though, about like we're the BS, right?
Yeah.
Because we met people here today that watch us on stream, and they were like, "Wow, you really are like real people and argue like a married couple," because we don't hide that on stream. Like,
Yeah, I mean, the authenticity is so important, and this really just levels the playing field, I think.
Yep.
What's your name and what's your question?
Everything's
My name's Joe. I go by G2BB online. First off, you stole my question, so thanks for that. So I got to go to my backup question. But I do want to say, to the point of that question, I posted a TikTok a while ago asking how to get started in 3D printing and content creation, and Joel actually responded to that video along with a number of other people, including people who are sitting in this room, responding and getting the community involved. And so I really wanted to kind of second that and put some emphasis on really getting involved in the community. I don't think I would have actually come here to RepRap if it weren't for that sort of content. So thank you for that. My actual question is, what is your most anticipated thing in the maker world coming up? So for example, it could be software, hardware, whatever, technique. For me, I'm really anticipating the Eufy-Make E1 UV printer. So I'm kind of curious to see if there's anything else that I don't know about yet.
Forget the NDAs, everybody. Let's just let it all go. No, go for it. You want to start off, Joel? You want to
Sure,
kick
I'll
off and go
start.
down the line?
So
and
here-
then, real quick, everyone, you guys feel free to speak up because they are recording audio. So be louder in your mics if you can a little bit.
Sure.
Joel, can you?
So
be loud?
here at RepRap, there is Scrap Labs, and he's got a table here. His name is Matt, and he is the one that started the company Exact Metal for metal 3D printing. He's not there anymore. He's got Scrap Labs, and he's got pieces at his desk that are non-reactive metals for additives. So he's got tool steel and aluminum and stainless, and I don't know if he had the copper piece or not. But anyway, he showed a build plate for a machine he's making, and we're talking about consumer level metal additive. And he didn't bring the machine because he wants to protect himself with patents, and it's currently filed. But the idea being the patent will allow him to then open source the design properly, so companies could license tech, but you and me and everybody else could build our own. So that's insane. This is the first time in history, really, we're talking about a competent consumer level metal additive effort. And Scrap Labs, his name is Matt, and he has these cool metal bow ties. So you can go put on a metal bow tie and take a picture with it. It's cool. But we're talking about an insane technology that's coming soon, and he's local here, and just go say hi.
I know you have the Mamaki, Joel, but the desktop from FlashForge, the CJ, what is it? Yeah, 270. I'm excited to see how that goes. I love multicolor. I do everything in multicolor. So being able to bring that to resin, I think is going to be amazing.
For me, it's just exploring new materials. I have a couple. I actually do have an NDA. I have packaged waiting at home of Polymaker filaments, of new stuff that they're coming out with. So I've stepped out of my PLA bubble, and now I'm just really excited to start printing with different materials and sharing that. For me, the thing that's, I think, really taken off in the last 6 months is the number of people that got easy to use 3D printers like a Bamboo A1 Mini or something like that. The Creality has a whole bunch of really set it and forget it kind of printers. But now that these people have started printing, it's the education. A lot of us, my first printer was a Focus. It folds. It folds. I could throw it across the yard too. But a lot of us were in and people even before. I know that they started out it was a battle. That didn't even auto bed leveling. And so these people have these easy to print printers. Now they're starting to explore new materials. They're actually not just printing right from the app. And so it's the opportunity to share my knowledge and expertise and educate these people. So if people are creating content, really think about education, and it's 3D printing 101. And it is really exciting because these people, they already are printing, some of these are mass producing, the Cinderwing dragons and things, but now they're running into problems. And it's being able to share your knowledge and your experience. I think it's really exciting. There's a lot of new people 3D printing.
For me, it would be the Vertigo. So if you are TikTok people, they do have a page, Automated Layers. It's a new printer that we are working on. West 3D is helping, LDO is helping, and it'll hopefully be out soon. We do have one built at the West 3D booth that you can go check out, though. So technology-wise, he's probably my go-to guy, but it can basically, the bed will come up, scrape your parts off, and go back to printing again. So it's really cool.
First of all, that's really cool. I'm gonna have to go check that out. So that's awesome. I guess the 5-axis printers that I've seen here is going to be really cool to be able to maybe build or operate one and have a slicer that can work for that. That's kind of exciting. That's probably besides what you just said. And where is that at here, by the way?
Scrap Labs?
Yeah.
He's right next to the McLaren.
It's
Okay.
literally
All
right there.
I haven't been on this side, but okay, yeah. So that's the 5-axis printers is kind of
Awesome. Keep the questions coming. I'm coming over here. All right. What's your name and what's your question?
Hey everybody, I'm Brady. I'm with Brady Meets World, and so I have a question for everybody on the panel. You guys all work with brands, so where do you walk that line between being genuine to your audience, but still doing what the company requires of you guys? And then the second part of that question is, where do you end up cutting it off if the company is not sharing the same values that you do and your audience does?
Damn good question. Let's start on this side and work our way back to Joel.
Yeah, that is a good question. That is kind of tough. Basically, just that you got to communicate that with them right out of the gate. You know that we just try to be honest about everything. Like if we review something and it's bad, I'm going to say that it's bad or what I don't like about it. If they come to you and they say, "Hey, will you do this? We'll give you this for free, but you have to say this," that's a no. Don't do it. Some people do. I wouldn't. Just try to be honest. Yeah.
So some things, like we've had companies that have gave us plenty of free things to do videos on. He does the edited videos by himself on YouTube. But like he said, we don't, if they're telling us that you have to say something, then we just don't. We don't. Keep your stuff, please. But on the other side of it, if you're talking like brands, I would say because we actually work with Polymaker. We just started working with New Makers. I know you do too. Or as far as I know, you still do. And then Ambrosia, because we work for West 3D. So our fine line is trying to equally get them all out there because that's a lot, They all give us filament to give away to our viewers. But we also don't take it on until we get to experience it. Ambrosia, obviously, we got to because we work there. And if you ever buy Voron printed parts, we probably printed them for you or one of our other print partners. But Ambrosia is what we use now. New Makers, we just started working with them, but I tried it out before I even did that. Wasn't like, oh, yeah, let me do it. I was like, can I have some? And let me check it out. And then once I was like, okay, this is actually pretty good filament. Bring it on. So, yeah. Go for it, Liz.
My big thing is I definitely want it to be something that I would use, something that I do use. I have a purpose. So I've had companies say, oh, we want to, we have this new build plate or whatever. And if I'm never going to print with materials that require that build plate or something like that, I might not take the opportunity. But also I might take an opportunity to actually step outside of the bubble. I'm always about stepping outside of my comfort zone. So, but I would never do something where they have any set requirements or else. And the biggest thing is to be absolutely genuine about what you're doing, and also work with companies that you would like if you weren't streaming, if you weren't that you would actually want to use their materials or try out their printer or whatever else. Make it genuine, make it as organic as possible, and it's really fun to see that natural progression. And also you can cheese it up. I do a show with Zombie Hedgehog. He is like the cheesiest. Like he pretends to be a shill, which is kind of funny, and so we do cheese it up for things, but we also demonstrate how we use these materials or products or whatever, and it's kind of fun. It's, there is a line, but be genuine.
Yeah, I think if you're not genuine, everybody is going to sniff it out. It's all about saying what's true, what you believe, and what you know. If you are saying a product's great, it's not great, it's not going to come across as honest. And then, people are going to get the product and be like, hey, Jem, you lied to us. No. I would rather not go that route. So being genuine, being honest, if there's an issue with the product, I would reach out to the company, let them know I can't do it.
This is a tough one. So I've been doing this for 10 years as of last month. And there's been many times where companies that I've worked with have given me something and expected something and it didn't work. And I've had to be like, look, this is not going to flow. So recently, I don't want to name the company, but there was a recent company that paid for a sponsored piece of content, and they sent in a machine, and I tried using it, and it broke 3 different ways. And we went back to the company, and we're like, I'm not going to meet your deadlines. This is broken. And they sent another one. and it broke too. And I started looking through the community because this is something that many, many people had. It had been for sale for a while, and no one else had been talking about these issues. I didn't know if it was valid for me to say that in video, and so we were like, we're not going to do this. We're not going to show this content because this is not. If I'm going to talk about it, it's going to be an issue, and this is something you guys need to fix. And so they've gone back. We're going to still work with them, but the issues that I experienced wasn't something that others were seeing. So I didn't know how valid that would be for me to put out there. I just erred on let's not put it out there. I don't think that's valid. If they come back, say it's fixed, and then it's still not, then it's part of a larger story that we can then talk about. One of the brands that I can mention that we've worked with in the past is Matter Hackers. And I've had lots of success with their materials, and I've had a good relationship with them. But their Pulse 3D printer back in the day, that was before they were selling the Prusa printers, that was their answer to Prusa printers. And they wanted me to make content with the machine, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good. And so I wasn't going to make content about it. I didn't want to showcase something that was performing poorly. It didn't make any sense. And so to the manufacturer's end, I said, I'm not going to talk about this. I still use their materials, and I talked about the things that did work with the materials, but the machine itself, I didn't use. And then obviously the Pulse went away because it wasn't selling because no one was buying it, and they now sell Prusa 3D printers.
It's all your fault.
It is all my fault. Actually, long ago, I dealt with the Robo R2. Long ago, they had shipped me one, and the lead screw in the back was bent from the motor. And I filmed about this. And then they sent me another one, and it was broken, but in a different way. And so then this was for review as well. So this was not a paid spot. And then Robo said, fine. And they went and they cherry picked one off the line. And then they in their offices in California, they put in some extra bits, and then they strapped it to a pallet, and then they put that on a flatbed truck, and then they drove it to my house in Seattle. And it was broken. It still broke. And part of the reason it broke was because of the things they added. And so I was just, it was a full story at this point. And so that's why I was able to make the video about the Robo R2. And I recommended to people not to purchase the machine. I had 3 different chances at trying this machine, and this was not something that I would recommend. And looking at others who also had the machine, there were problems in the community. People were talking about the machine. And later I heard that Braden from Robo within conversations was like, I was just searching for drama, and I didn't actually have the problems. And so it's so terrible. It's so terrible. All of it is terrible, because if you show genuine excitement for something, you're a shill. And if you showcase issues that you've had with something, then you just obviously don't know how to use it. And so as a content creator, in dealing with companies, as long as you're truthful to yourself, and I'm never going to put something to air that I don't have personal experience with, and I'm not able to give an honest opinion. There's been companies that have reached out and said, hey, we can't send you a machine, but we can send you videos about the machine, and we'll pay you to make a video about it, just talking about it. And it's like, well, no, because I can't be honest with the audience. And so there's that fine line of shilling, and it really depends on who's watching your content and where their line of shilling is. But for me personally, and for what we do with the channel, it's just there's never going to be anything that goes to air that I don't have personal experience with, and I will always be honest with the audience. And some people, you're never going to please anybody, but I mean, I'm just going to continue doing it the way I'm doing it because I think it's the right way to go.
We're going to take some more questions. I want to add one thing on there too, in dealing with the brands, because I'm a part of that equation with it, and I deal with a lot of them. It's also being as transparent as possible up front and saying, here's our agreement, here's what this is, and getting things in writing, and being as boring as you can with the language and putting something up front and saying, here's where we're at with this. And then as things happen, you go back to that. You have this agreement. You have, hey, this is what we said we were going to do. Here's what this is supposed to do, or whatever it is. And if it's outside that, just keep it very black and white with people, because that saves so much drama. If you start getting into like hyperbole and this and that, and you don't have paperwork and things like lining together, like when you work with anyone, like I work with a lot of different friends and different colleagues in other areas, and I always have paperwork with them. And they're like, wait, why do we need paperwork? We're friends. I go, we're friends, so it shouldn't be a problem. It's more about just having that. Like it might offend people. It might be like, oh, why do you need this contract? We're buddies. And I'm like, well, if you're upset about it, then clearly there's going to be issues down the line. But I've had most of my colleagues be like, yeah, let's sign it, let's go. It's no big deal, because they're involved with it. And I think establishing that and being very intentional about what you're going to be doing with the brand and making sure that, because then you get the guide rails, because you never know at the company, the person you're dealing with may get fired, go to a different department. Now you're dealing with a new entity and you don't have the same communication or connection with that person. And so you need something that's consistent throughout your engagement with them. And that tends to help cut a lot of BS out, because you go, hold on, I got this thing here. And they're like, oh yeah, okay. And then it gets things back on track.
So real quick,
Yeah.
for Joel, because you've been doing this a long time, so what is the strangest or most out there request you've had to do a video? I mean,
Boy, that's a good one. So, I mean, there's been a lot. Yeah, could we?
yeah, we
could we
recently got one that I just won't even say.
We'll just say
It was a toy.
adult related. and
To
not
review
3D
it.
printing content at all.
Oh, the amount of requests. Yeah, I mean, I get
like
I,
the strangest.
I get things that are like, we really enjoy your content. It's incredibly inspirational. However, we have this line of women's lingerie.
Right. That's
And
yeah.
It would be amazing if
It's my fault, because I
showcase-
3D printed the bras,
Yeah.
so that's a thing.
It's
got that too.
So a lot of times what happens when you're a content creator and you have a public-facing
Yep.
business email address and you interact with a certain entity, a lot of times that gets shared amongst others within the area, and you start it's just a part of a growing list that a company or many companies will have, that they just go down and they just fire and forget. And sometimes it'll stick. Like
Doritos.
Doritos is great, man.
Yeah.
Like that's one of those things where it's not really 3D printing related, but it's been one of those things where they've been involved in the community and they've stepped up and they give out product and they just want to get their name out there. And so we've had conversations with them, and Doritos sent me a fridge. And that's why I have a Doritos drink on my table every time I do a stream, because it's tasty and they're good people.
Pex Peppers.
And Pex
Yeah,
Peppers
We have
is
Pex
another
Peppers.
one. That's right. The
We've
hot
used
sauce.
it for charity streams, for challenges.
So if I
and
ever
things.
have a backdrop just full of women's lingerie and robotic vacuums, then I've gotten some interesting emails.
And also, too, we did a thing with Pete's Coffee for a while. We worked with them as a partner
Pete's.
because they're something that's adjacent. We've had other people, like alcohol sponsors, come in. Other people come in, they want to be involved in it. And we actually had, people hit us up with like nutritional supplements and things like that. And I'll say, where's your FDA information? And they'll be like, we don't have that. I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. But also, we wouldn't go down that route because it doesn't fit the channel and the show. And it's also, part of that element on it. But like, people ask us, like, some weird sponsors, but it's not just spam. They're intentional. Like, no, your audience would love this. And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, exactly. We've got only a couple minutes left, so I got time for 2 more questions. You had one in the front, and then the gentleman with the awesome hat, and then we'll see what else we
A
can
lot of
do.
awesome hats here today.
I know.
Hat.
Yeah, speaking of fashion, like next year,
Benchy
fashion
hat.
show.
Yeah.
Benchy hat. What's your name and your question?
My name's Ben. I want to know for the whole panel. So we were talking about sponsorships and stuff like that. And you guys all make your living off of these platforms. Does doing the content for sponsorships and such ever get in the way of the fun stuff that you want to do that really got you involved in 3D printing in the first place?
Yes.
Very good
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Ooh, like that.
Can I take this one real quick?
Yeah,
Can I
go
go
ahead.
first? Okay. So recently, I recorded a video where I printed a couple things, and it'll air in the next couple weeks. And I explained at the front, I'm like, 3D printing is a hobby. Like I used to do this as a hobby. Yes, it's a job, but I still print cool stuff, and I just kind of like to show it off. And so there were 3 specific things that I printed, and I just showed them off. Like it felt like the old days. It felt great, just printing cool stuff and showing it off. And there was no sponsorship in the way. It was just using neat materials and fun machines to make cool stuff. That is like an island amongst a sea of chaos, because sponsorships are great and they allow my kids to eat and they allow my family to see a doctor if they need to, and I can pay wages and have a company. But again, it is sponsorships, and so you do have this requirement that will sometimes hang over your head and get in the way of doing stuff. Like it's weird. Like I have a job that gets in the way of my hobby, but my hobby is my job. So I don't know how to
We also
handle
try
that.
to filter that into and make those things fun along the way. But yeah, sometimes we have deadlines and things that are just there, and it's like, well, this video can't air for a little while because we have to do other stuff. But then it comes out.
I have a weekly show where I'm supposed to showcase, specific filaments or come up with, something. And I'll have, you'll have a day where I had one day, there was a power outage. They just announced, oh yeah, your power's going to be out for the next, I was supposed to be printing all new material. I was doing Polysmooth. I was doing this and my whole audience was ready for the Polysmooth episode, and I had nothing printed. And it's Wednesday. I'm streaming. It's live. So I had to actually go, and I'm like, oh, look at all this neat stuff that, the Polymaker's got a wiki now. And I had to pivot because I didn't have enough to give an example of the material. I didn't feel that I was it was a disservice to everyone. And so yeah, having to pivot, especially because I do it live, is I think that's the challenge when it comes to sponsored things. And then also sometimes there's the I'm sure that you've all had this, where you have different time zones. And so you're trying to communicate with a sponsor or a brand and say, I'm going to be doing this today, and it's like 10 p.m. in Shanghai, and they want you to do it at 10 a.m. and it's like, well, that's not when I usually do this, So it's those expectations and that sort of pressure, and I think that's something that has been a challenge at times.
I think like a simple, for me anyways, way to answer that would be like, I enjoy doing all the things, but when it starts to become that I have to do it, like I'm required to do this, and especially if things go wrong or something along the process, when I have to do it is when I don't want to. Yeah.
Oh.
No, you go for it, Gemini. This is actually going to be our last question,
Okay.
so I'm being singled out.
Okay. So for us though, we've never had a sponsor yet. So we work for a living too. This is a side hustle, I guess, if you will.
Well, it's not.
Yeah, he is a lineman. He does lineman work. And I used to be a property manager, but now I work for West 3D. He also works for West 3D. So if you ever order anything and you need help with support, we are remote support. So yeah, we do that, and then we do YouTube as well as all the other things. So we never really get breaks. It's funny, you tell your family, you're like, hey, I'm going to Colorado. Oh, cool, have a nice vacation. No, this is work. Please don't call it that. Yes, it's fun. Of course it's fun. And I wish this was our full-time gig, but it is a lot of work. And yeah. Like he said, though, if you need a break, take a break. I know other people that stream that have left YouTube for a hot minute and came back because sometimes you need a mental break. It's okay.
Sponsorships and brand deals are not a big part of what I do. I sell the majority of my prints. Maybe one day it will be. Ben, It's Buoyant Space, just had me create a second account to do my fun stuff. So I keep Gemini-x creations all business, and then I keep Gemini-x prints all fun, which is where the shoes came from. Yeah. So I think finding the joy in what you do. I've done a big 6-foot hydroponic tower on that account. I've done.
That was cool, by the way.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's all in Petchy. It lives in the greenhouse. I still have to start plants.
Okay.
So, but.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I did a video composting PLA in my countertop composter. I know Polar Filament out there has some new biodegradable PHA that I'm going to be getting and doing that as well. So the fun stuff, it's really finding the joy in what you used to do. If you have to create a separate space where you can continue to do it, I think that would be a good thing to do.
Awesome. Do we have time?
We-
I knew he had a question.
I know you did, but we didn't. I got flagged. We are out of time. Do we're out of time? Yes. Yeah, we're out of time.
We can chat after. if you want.
I mean, everyone's here. We're all hanging out. I want to thank you all for coming. I'd love to thank our guests. If we give a round of applause for everyone coming out here. You have now met the makers. And if you have any questions, just feel free to tackle them once we leave here and all that good stuff.
Great.
Thank you, everyone,
Bring it
for coming
on.
up here and being
Thank
a
you,
part of
everybody.
this.
Thank you.